Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Chicago Vibe with your host,
DJ Mr.
Lady T
Success.
and Mr.
Lady T.
Welcome. And this is a show basically about just issues, real life issues and stuff. And today the topic we're gonna hit on is mental health because this is something that's really going on across the world. It ain't no racial thing. It ain't no. It's a everybody thing. Everybody go through mental health, and it affects the world as a whole. So, Lady T, could you like tell everybody who you are, what you do, and this, by the way, this is our first show together. Some been in the making
Yes.
2 years now, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So just introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, everybody, my name is Lady T Marie. And it's a Chicago Vibe podcast. It's basically a podcast that's gonna be about real, I say the three R's: relatable, reachable, and reliable. A show where people can really, get the real, not nothing watered down, but just real, the real. So buckle up, you know what I'm saying, and sit back and enjoy. And I hope it's something that we say on the podcast today that really help you to get healing, because our purpose is for people to get healed, to get set free, and be free in who God created them to be. So we're gonna jump right into this podcast. And we want to talk about mental illness, and we know that mental illness is something that is it comes from trauma, from a lot of traumatic situations, due to losing a loved one, due to losing a career. It could be whatever your traumatic situation is. And not only that, a lot of people are born, dealing with mental illness. And when you hear mental illness, we automatically think, oh, something is mentally wrong with me, I'm crazy, or they're crazy. And it's not true. A lot of people that deal with mental illness also can deal with deep depression, you know, and being depressed and not even understanding. And and I'm no doctor, we're not doctors here, but just from experience, from watching other people and being in the medical field, um seeing a lot of people, go through these situations is real. So I just want to talk about trauma. When I say trauma, I mean, losing like a loved one, and being connected with a loved one and not understanding how to let go. And I've been in a situation. I lost a husband, and I also lost a brother who was very close to me, and it was a very traumatic situation. And so didn't have to use medical drugs to get free. It was me praying and having people to pray with me and pray to release that spirit of oppression away from me, and I got healed. So my purpose is, and God's purpose is for us to be healed, to be free, because when you're not free in your spirit, in your mind, it's hard for you to connect with the world, not just really connect with the world, but it's hard for you to do the things that God has called you to do. Maybe, at your job, it's hard to really focus if you're not free in your spirit. So one it's a way of the world that we can be free from mental illness, is that's taking medication, which I'm not really big on medication, to each his own, but I'm not big on medication. But for me and for other people I've seen, that a lot of people don't talk about, not even the church talk about, is that mental illness comes from the enemy. And I'm going a little deep, a little bit, little deep, but it's true. And until we get to the root of the problem, people will never be free. And that's the strong man, which is 16 over. It's other different types of spirits, but the spirit of heaviness and the a spirit of oppression, all those fall under the category of the spirit of heaviness, which is a strong man that will literally ride you until God or set you free from whatever that issue is. So you have to rebuke the strong man. You have to get a closer walk with God so that he could set you free, because he the only one who's the son set free is truly free indeed. So he the only one that can actually set you free. Man can't set you free. The drugs, medication it helps some people, and some people it make it worse. I'm not a doctor, but the only way you'll be totally free from that is you gotta give it to God. That's just like the only way to do that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're dealing with mental illness, there are resources out here. Reach out to your family member, talk to somebody, go to counseling. It's okay. It's okay to talk it out if you're going through marital problems, if you're going through, with your children. It's okay to reach out to somebody, because a lot of times in the Black culture and other cultures as well, I'm not gonna just put this on a Black card, but a lot of cultures feel as though, well, they used to say back in the day, what goes on in this house stays in this house. No, that's why you oppressed. That's why you depressed. So we have to, not tell the world your business, but reach out to somebody and get free and get delivered in your mind and your spirit, because you will drive your own self crazy. So, um, and if it's any listeners that's out there, you're dealing with mental illness, I will have the mental illness number at the end of this segment, and reach out to us if you want prayer, if you need a church. We can help you find a church home, or if we can help you find whatever it is that you need. You just need somebody to talk to. Reach out to us, and yeah, reach out to us and contact somebody, your grandmama, cousin, anybody. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. So we may end up doing another part of this, because this topic right here, another segment of this one day in the future, because this is a situation a lot of people deal with it, and people who you may see every day.
Mental health is a real big issue. It's people that's making decisions, making laws and stuff that's going through mental health and stuff. So this is not just one particular area problem. This here, like I was saying in the beginning, this here affects everything, and we're not just here to talk about it. We actually invite people with solutions. Like if we miss any solutions or any resources to guide people to for mental health solutions, tap in with us and add that to it. We could guide these people to, because this is something that needs to be fixed. I mean, if we just sit back and just let stuff keep going on, like Lady T said, you build up, you need balance in everything.
Mhm.
Find a ways to figure out to release your stress and stuff. Then talk to people. There's ways to talk to people calmly. You might have been through something like to trigger off mental health and anything.
Mhm.
So it's ways, and
Absolutely.
our job here is to try to get resources and solutions for this your problem.
I definitely agree. You gotta, in life, you're gonna go through, God revealed something to me a few days ago, and how as a believer of Christ, they say, you born again, you a new creature in him, and sometimes you gotta get reborn again. You gotta get, not that you gotta rededicate yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get a refreshing is what I'm trying to say. You gotta ask God to really like breathe on your nostrils, and set you free. All the time you got to, because the times that we're living in is a very wicked time, and the devil is job is to steal, kill, and destroy. 24 hours a day he is sitting in the cut plotting on how can I destroy you? How can I take you out? What can I do to hinder you from your purpose and your destiny? So in order for you to, you know, push past your problems and your situations, you have to, you got to keep your armor on. You got to keep the full armor of God on at all times, and not go off your feelings. because your feelings and your emotions, which I can agree, attest to,
Pride.
especially women, we are very emotional creatures. So we get very emotional and be in our feelings and all of that. But I'm learning not to go off my emotions and try to, take a deep breath and just know that tomorrow is a better can be a better day. It's not that bad. I'm still breathing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're dealing with, it's really not that bad. If God is still allows you to be on this earth, at that moment you feel like, man, my world is over, but it's not over. So,
And the key part and all that, you gotta find your comfort zone. And I tell anybody, it starts with self discipline.
yeah,
Good mental health. It could be something you eating wrong. You gotta get in here.
yes,
Of your mind is just as more important than taking care of your body. What you put in your body,
absolutely,
mind, create. Try to find habits that help good mental health. People might be people you've been
hmm,
if you've been around like a certain friend that's been in your life and all they can bring up is bad negative stuff about you. Maybe that's a hindrance of your life. It could be a family member. So sometimes if you distance yourself from people or negative people, it don't mean that you don't love them. Sometimes you distance yourself from them.
absolutely,
A lot of mental health comes from people just want too much attention. Be careful what attention that you're trying to attract. I see a lot of people
absolutely,
they mind go crazy over a bad relationship, whether it's a man or a woman. Sometimes you look at that as a good. You got that toxic stuff about you before it can cause you any more other mental health issues. So you should be thankful that a toxic
hmm,
it ain't nothing you doing wrong. It's just yeah, it is something you're doing wrong. Stop attracting toxic people. Learn the signs of toxic.
absolutely.
Clean yourself up, and then when you be around,
That's it.
you're gonna create and attract positive energy. So I mean, it's all like I said in the beginning, self discipline. Learn to discipline yourself. So prioritize yourself. Exercise on a regular. Try to eat healthy a lot. Find a good the word of the Lord. I mean, there's different ways that you stay away from the negative stuff all the time. You wake up every day
Hmm.
listening to trap music. I mean, come on, what's the results going to be about it? Racks and negativity.
Yep.
Like, you take pics, sticking your
Yes.
to yourself. I mean, come on. I mean, you saying, do you know what's the middle finger mean? I mean, that was made for a reason to mean F you. You're saying F yourself. I mean, come on. That's what type of energy you bring into yourself. I know it might look cool because you just saw your favorite rapper or singer or something doing that. But come on, that's energy. They
Yes.
theirs. I mean, that from the help of you attracted to that negative energy. So sometimes you got to put your mind
Hmm.
in a safe place sometime, man. Good results. I mean, the key to me is praying, and I ask for guidance and attract me around
Amen.
that bring and put out positive energy. So you got to ask for
Yes, Lord.
people want to pray for. I want to hit the lottery. I want to get out of debt. I want to do that. All that comes down to
Yeah.
ask for your mind, the mind to think freely. With all that toxic stuff in your mind,
Yeah.
not controlling your mind, your mental health issue, you can see things clearly. You will know
Hmm.
what to read, what to do. And then, I mean, like, be honest. A lot of people, if you won $1 million, we hit the mega million of Powerball. What would you go? Do you really have a plan for that money? I mean, you see it all
Exactly.
people. You're gonna be spending more money than you bringing in, and the key to get that money is to do something good with it. You're a blessing. You can be a blessing for others. You can recognize the takers.
Right.
Right now, recognizing the takers already, because that could cause mental health issues. Let
Absolutely.
if you see a person just taking, sometimes get to yourself. Give yourself a good comfort zone.
Hmm.
Attract good people that way. I mean, it's a lot to go on, and like I say, we got this floor open. People could tap in with us. If you got anything we missing out, because like I say, we're not here just to talk about mental health. We're actually trying to get solutions, issues. And so, it's a solution to every problem. I mean, each one teach.
Absolutely.
If we reach one person, all I ask you is to spread this message to somebody else to get on board, and then everybody is falling out. It's a slow process, but we got to get everybody to
Hmm.
it's self-discipline because this is some serious.
Right.
It affects the outcome of a lot of things.
Another thing I want to piggyback off you said about what we say and what we listen to, because I remember a few years, well, over 10 years ago, I preached a message called "A Spoken Word Creates an Atmosphere." Right, and the reason why God allowed me to minister that message was because death and life is in the power of the tongue. So God has given us dominion and power over our own life to speak life, to speak life, or to speak death. So whatever we choose, He give us a free will to choose what your destiny gonna be. Because His destiny for your life could be one thing, but if you go against His will and you stand on the will of God, stand against His will, then it's not gonna go right. You God not out of order, you out of order. So we have to regroup, you know, take a deep breath and say, God, redo my life. I need your help to reorder my steps, because I went down the wrong steps. I went down the wrong path. So I need you to order my steps and you know, um being in traumatic situations, whether you've been through abusive relationships, I have been in an abusive situation, and it's not hard. It's hard, very hard to get out of, especially being with somebody who is claims to be a man of God. I'm speaking for women and for men who are dealing with a situation where you like, I can't even get out of this because I'm married to this person. I'm married to them, and they may not be physically, but mentally, if somebody's speaking to you and steady just cursing you out or just being disrespectful to you, like, you matter, to God. And so you got to know, how will God handle you? You know what I'm saying? Is that person loving you the way God should love? God loves you, or is this person loving you the way the enemy, the way the devil loves you? Well, the devil don't love us, so the way the devil, coming
I
against us. So
love as a lover, buddy. Yeah, the devil normally try to.
yeah, he has a different type of love. He got a lust for us, because he want what we can do. So, but I wanted to say this: we have to rebuke the word curses that was spoken over our lives before we were even born,
Yeah.
over our bloodline. I had recently went to a church. Shout out to Powerhouse, and I was just dealing with a lot. The spirit of heaviness was on me really, really heavy, and it's just a quick testimony. And I was really going through, and mentally I was going through because I was going through stuff with my child losing her father, just with my mental. On top of that, I had ended up having a heart attack. It was just so much that was going on. I was like, God, am I cursed? Like, what's going on? And some of you who probably going through trials and tribulations, and you like, man, I've been going through since I was a kid. God is making you and molding you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go through the fire to be purified to come out as gold. So don't think because you're going through traumatic situations, whether it's trauma or whether every obstacle you've been through, you like, man, I made it over. I'm in my right man. But just always remember to give him thanks and praise, because thanks and praising him, it elevates you. It levels you up when you give him glory and you say, Lord, I thank you for allowing me to, what I'm saying, to wake up. The simple things, to wake up in the morning, for the activities of my limbs, like the simple things. God, that's all God wants.
That should be on somebody's top priority. As soon as they wake up, is to just give thanks.
Yeah,
Like,
when I get up in the morning, I don't. I'm not a deep person. When I first started ministry, I was 19, 20 years old, and I first started preaching. Yeah, I was deep because that was the traditional thing to do, to be deep. But when you get a personal relationship with God and you know Him for yourself, you could be in your car and having a relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? You could be in the bathroom and have you talk to him within your spirit. You ain't gotta be speaking in tongue. Nothing wrong with speaking in tongues. Don't cuff for me, church. We speak in tongues, but you ain't stop teaching people church that you gotta be deep. You know what I'm saying, to reach God. All you gotta do is to get in, just to praise Him. Because at the end of the day, when we leave this body, that's all we're gonna be doing. We ain't gonna be preaching the sermons in heaven. We ain't gonna be doing none of this extra stuff that we doing on earth. We're gonna be reverencing His presence and giving Him glory for His glory. So
Just making your daily routine. As soon as you wake up, give thanks. I mean, don't wait till you
yeah,
start going through something, then you want to run. Oh Lord, help me. Please save this. Please say that. No, you should already been on that track. You should already be on that track. Prepare.
yes,
Prepare. The Lord will answer you. Blood
yeah.
already, and you know stuff won't even happen into your life because He's protecting you because you're asking for it constantly. And another thing I want to talk to people about. This is going to cause a lot of mental health distraction. You on your
Oh,
glory? I mean, come on. If you get
mm-mm.
your goal to every day, I wake up. First thing I'm gonna do is pray. You shouldn't let nothing get you upset to stop you from doing that. I mean,
Yep,
stay on path. You watch for the distraction. Distract. You could easily get pulled off your square, and just remember
yes,
to get pulled off and why you got distracted. 'Cause right now, I've been doing what I'm doing. I done got like 2, 3 different times in life to do what I'm doing
mm-hmm.
in media, to make music, to do a lot of things. But would I have been putting the right message out there when I was younger trying? No, probably
Mm-hmm.
cause people more mental health. So you got to get time,
Yep,
ask God to reboot you. You know, you're talented. You could
yes,
be a speaker. Lead them to people that can help pull what define your purpose in life. You could be real comfortable.
yes.
Just give thanks, praises, and watch for the distractions.
Them distractions, that when you said distractions, I literally could have ran, because that's the devil's job. You could be your own distraction as well.
Yeah.
You could be your own hindrance. Like, because God have been told you, to do one thing, and then you will start, oh, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. I gotta He ain't told you that. He told you to handle what he told you first, and then everything else will come. So
Uh,
we gotta stay focused. And I want to say, even with starting the podcast, right? We have been we have been talking and talking like, man, we're gonna do a podcast. And I was supposed to do a podcast with other people, and it was just like God. So God kept showing me you. God kept showing me like your spirit, and I'm
I
like,
want to piggyback on
go
what
ahead.
you're saying because I've been
Hmm.
asked hundreds of times to do different podcasts. I see like people who I come up with doing music, but we did a lot of other stuff too. And then I see the type of podcasts that they're doing. I mean, it's not nothing bad. They're trying to like find solutions too, but they're not glorifying the past. They talk about the past. I don't want to go back down that road. People live that. Got
Absolutely.
a lot of people that fail, a lot of soldiers that's gone right now. And I'm just thinking if they would have asked for to be rebranded or to rebooted, how would their purpose be a lot? Because a lot of us just was just misled, not paying attention to the.
Absolutely.
I don't really want to. Not that I'm being antisocial or stuff, but it's just certain things is just not. I didn't walk through that fire before. I don't even want to think about it, bring it up, talk about it no more because I've
Absolutely.
survived it. The next person might not be. You know, and so I mean, why
Yep.
about something like that? You know, because I survived. Other people weren't
Yeah.
lucky. May they rest in peace. They probably thinking, wish they could have did stuff the way I'm doing it now, a little different because I learned
Yep.
just learn from people how to survive and stuff. I learned from their mistakes as well. They survived some,
Right.
mean I could have survived. I don't want to go down that road. I wish a lot of people would have told me and pushed me. See, we got more people just glorifying certain things. There's a couple of people in here, don't do this, don't do that. We need more people telling us what not to do, the do's and the don'ts.
And I agree with that, because I wrestled, you know, I wrestled, which I know my place as far as with media. I know my place as far as with the secular realm. I know my place and I knew my place. And I feel like I had wavered, it wasn't that I wavered, it was just God put me in that position. He allowed me to be in that position to go and get whoever it is and plant the seeds that I needed to plant because I'm gonna talk about this. This is gonna really bless somebody. Okay, my fiance, right, which is Ross Glover, right? He God sent him in my life and me in his life to help me overcome a lot of trauma. We think when God give us a gift or he give us a talent or something that everything's supposed to just happen overnight and it don't work like that. Just hold that thought. We about to pay some bills.
Hey, you. Do you feel your back is up against the wall with nowhere to go or turn? Mental illness is real. And if you or someone you know is battling with this demon, try Jesus. This commercial is sponsored by the Lord.
Welcome back to Chicago Vibes with your host, Mr. Success.
And Lady T. Marie.
All right. Now, before we went to commercial break, Lady T, you was talking about an important conversation. I know you almost to the end, but we had to pay those little bills real quick. So
I basically want to leave encouraging words just to let everybody know that no matter whatever your situation is, no matter what you're going through, tomorrow the sun will shine. And when I say the sun, I don't mean the SUN, but the sun, SON, will shine in your life. All you got to do is believe and trust and know that He will come through for you. And, just keep it moving. Don't never give up, faint not, just hold on to the word, hide the word of God in your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding, but acknowledge Him. And if you do those things, you will succeed.
yeah, and like I tell anybody, stay disciplined and start planning. Plan ahead sometimes. That takes a lot of stress off. I mean, a lot of times it could be monkey rich thrown into your plans, but at least you set a plan and you got something to start off on, and then you could learn how to jump over some of those obstacles that's getting your way. It starts with discipline. You will start paying attention to distractions, stuff like that. It's not that the plan failed. Sometimes a person just failed to plan. So, I mean, everybody get up in the morning, like I said, take some up out of this podcast that we did today. Wake up in the morning, give thanks, give glory. Start the day off that way on a positive foot. Don't think of negative stuff around.
Mhm.
Start the day off like that. So, well, is there anything else you got to say, Lady T?
Nope, we'll definitely see y'all next week.
Oh, I like to close my segment like this.
DJ
With
Mr.
Mr. Success, you
Success.
always have a ball. If I can't tell the truth, there's nothing at all. Until next week, y'all. Peace. C-H-I-C-H-E-O, C-H-I-C-A.
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-H-E-O,
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-A.
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-H-E-O,
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-A.
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-H-E-O,
Let's go.
C-H-I-C-A.
Let's go.